Mate, start to kuluma with a very exciting guest with Titimba or Pinville. And now Sisilona nice from Pinville, beautiful lady and a businesswoman, oh mama, and the Koskaska met you both. But actually in them tengisale. I guess it's a good to spatele in Namplanje. So Sonia, thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me, Nimrod.
How have you been?
I've been good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm very, very well. How's your family?
My family is good.
Yeah? Are they growing though?
Big boys, yeah. Tall.
How old now?
6 and 10, and they're going to be as tall as daddy, so.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And dad?
He's good. He's enjoying retirement, and he's studying now international politics.
Other athletes, be it basketball players, football players, soccer players, when the time comes to retire, it's difficult to let go because they plan and they are what they do. It seems as if mabayega leonto leyo. You know, they're living their first love. How was the transition for your husband?
I think for Matthew, it was not difficult for him to let go, as you said. I mean, he's been at it for 18 years. He started professional football since he was 5, playing for a local team, a local club. But for him, his planning had been for many years. He knew that he wanted to retire when he was still at the top, instead of, you know, sitting on the bench, warming up the benches, you know, more often than not. So I think he planned it properly, and he had a game plan that once he retired, he's going to study and do other things that he's always wanted to do.
Yeah. How do you do it in terms of, this is the last question about Matthew, in terms of catering for his disappointments, for pressure, or just dissatisfaction on sevenzi? You know, athletes are very competitive. Isn't usually, you know, family is where they find their solace. How did you contribute positively to his state of mind and a positive spirit?
I mean, you know, we've been together 14 years. It will be our 15th year in November. So in the almost 15 years that we've been together, we've always supported each other. You know, the focus obviously for the last 15 years of our lives was solely on his career, because football has got an expiry date. Just like modeling for me had an expiry date. I mean, you can't be a model forever. You can't be a sportsman forever. But for me, it was always important to give him the support and the unconditional love. Obviously, you know, he will be criticized if the team is not doing well, or if he personally didn't have a good game. But that's for me to now, when he comes back home, that's for me to, you know, to make him feel better, because, you know, a man wants to feel special. You know, when he walks into the house, he needs to know that he's loved, and he cannot be getting any more criticism because he's having enough of that from the fans. So the support has always been there.
Wow. Okay, it's good to know. Good to know. Are you from Pinville?
Zone 3.
Zone 3.
Yeah.
Zone 3. Matthew Booth. I'm from Zone 4. Okay. Towards the golf course.
A golf course.
Yes.
Okay, cheese boy.
Of course. Let's get to you. You've just written a book, well, to our knowledge now, how to reinvent yourself and stay relevant. Obviously, it involves brand positioning and the reinvention of a brand. When did it come that a person, whether of my status in this industry or wherever I work, when did we realize we must carry ourselves as brands?
You know, personal branding as an industry in this country still has a long way to go. I mean, when you look at Americans in particular are heavily branded. I mean, you look at people like Kanye West. Kanye doesn't, you know, people call him an egotistic, you know, personality, but he's well branded. I mean, anything that he endorses, I mean, if he happens to be an ambassador of any brand, it will sell like hotcakes. But that's because he is branded. And many South Africans don't realize that it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you're a clean sweeper. It doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, an engineer, an accountant, a waiter, a waitress. You have to brand yourself because you're setting yourself apart. If if everybody else is in the same industry, if we're all engineers and nothing sets you apart from the others, then how do you elevate yourself? I mean, how do people take you seriously?
Yes.
So the importance and the message that's on the book is that no matter who you are, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what, you know, whether low the position you're in or whether you're a CEO of a company, of a big organization, you have to brand yourself.
Then it brings us to the question of how then do you build a great personal brand and career?
First of all, you need to decide where you want your career to take you. You need to make up your mind as to where you see yourself in terms of, you know, your career success, be it monetary, being just a whole on a personal capacity, you know, where you want to see yourself right at the top. Because obviously we all have different levels of where we want to be. Some people are very comfortable where they are, but some people are very ambitious that they see themselves there. Once they reach that level, they want to elevate themselves. So it starts with the basics. I mean, branding yourself is you first of all, I mean, the way you are now, you're well groomed. That's branding. You know, so without you even realizing it, that the way you put yourself together, you know, the whole deportment, the way you sit, the way, I mean, you have a clean face, you're looking fresh, the way you talk, you know, your eloquence and the fact that you're well read, the fact that you do research for your show sets you apart from other people, because then other people will just wake up and just go on about their day without even having a plan of action. So you brand yourself. It starts with identity, knowing who you are. Then you have to know your worth. Because remember, if you don't know your worth and then you go to an employer and you're looking for a job and then they ask you, more often than not, they ask you, how much do you think you wanting to earn, or how much do you want to earn?
And then I'll say,
anything, exactly. But what's anything? Because then umuntu can just give you like 15,000 rands a month and you'd be happy with it. But if you know your worth, you'd be able to say to somebody, I'm not going to get out of bed unless I'm getting 15,000 an hour, of which some people are earning that. I mean, you're getting people who are commanding 100,000 an hour.
And then you get the returns, obviously.
Exactly. You're investing in yourself, remember? I mean, that's so it starts with identity, investing in yourself, and eventually getting to a point where you know your worth, where you are not going to lower your standards to suit another person, but you stand your ground and say, you know what, look at me, I'm branded, I'm a whole package. If you want me, you're going to part with your money because of the knowledge that I have.
Obviously, when we have learned more about current affairs, whether we are reading, it exposes us to the world in terms of being a brand, isn't it? And then we get connected to the world, the advantages thereof.
You have to keep abreast, obviously, with international standards. If you want to be taken seriously, you need to be on par with what other countries are doing throughout the world, because the market is very small in this country, and if you're just focusing on that, you're never ever going to maximize on any capacity that you have.
Sometimes personal relationships are also important to nurture. You know, these are people that are network and who can open doors for us. How then do we choose people that are specific to our brand and our brand growth?
You need to choose somebody that has goals aligned to yours. That's very, very important. You need to constantly innovate. You need to constantly reinvent. And I'm forever using the word constantly because it is a continuous process. It's supposed to be. Many times people get into a comfort zone where, you know, with the market being so small in SA, you maximize that, and then you get into a comfort zone and you're like, okay, I've made it, I'm successful. And then you relax, and then, you know, you're resting on your laurels. But then you're not realizing that there's plenty of opportunities outside in Zanzi.
What are the things that we must look out for, or this not destroy a brand? Because I'm not the one to subscribe to any publicity is good publicity. I really don't think essentially and fundamentally that is true, because a brand can be broken with bad publicity.
It can be broken indeed. We've seen examples of, again, I'm not wanting to mention names because I'm not here to trash anybody. That's not what I'm about. You know, when you get to read my book, you'll see the examples that are mentioned. The people that I talk about are very, very successful, and I've used different people from different walks of life. I mean, I've got personalities, people who are called, so-called celebrities.
Yeah.
I've got entrepreneurs, business people, and philanthropists. But you'll be able to see that they all have one thing in common. They've never ever gotten into a comfort zone. They've never ever had the attitude that I've arrived. Because that's the problem that a lot of people have. It's like once you make it into an industry and you become successful and you sign 1 or 2 autographs, you become big-headed and you think the world revolves around you. You're no longer respecting people who you're working with. You no longer respect other people's opinions. You think, people will listen to me, and you start having diva tactics, and but the world has, the universe has a way of humbling you. If you become so big-headed that you think that nothing will happen without you, and you forget that there's always going to be a replacement. Because fact is, whether you're a CEO or you're a big-time celebrity who's signing 100 autographs a day, posing for pictures throughout the day, fact is, there's always going to be somebody waiting for you to mess up, and they will take your position, and you'll have egg on your face, and then you're a has-been, and you don't want that.
Isn't it though? And then to come up again,
it's going to be very hard.
Thing.
It's going to be very hard, very, very hard.
No one can trust you now.
Exactly.
No one wants to touch you now.
Nobody wants to be involved with you because you've shown your true colors. You got too big-headed. That's the problem.
Sonia,
Yebo.
when you have managed to reinvent yourself, abanye abantu might have given up, but you've managed to reinvent yourself. Any advice? Obviously, the entire interview is a lesson, but any personal advice nje kubantu on staying relevant and the importance of staying relevant?
It's important for me to mention, Uti, staying relevant. There's a way of going about doing that. I mean, I know, you spoke about, bad publicity.
Yes.
For people saying, it doesn't matter if it's bad publicity. At the end of the day, I am getting publicity. People are talking about me, and I fully agree with you that it will be damaging to your brand. But if you find yourself in a position whereby you don't even know what to do or the next step to take in elevating your brand or in creating your brand, you first of all, you need to make sure that you're at the right space in your life. You need to evaluate your life and suss out, okay, this is where I am, that's where I need to be. What's the next phase for me to get to that next level, to elevate my brand from point A to point B? Well, first of all, I can easily tell you that you need to read my book, because the examples used here, the tips that are here, the success stories of other people, and that's the beauty of me using different people in different industries, whereby you will find somebody here that you can relate to. So everything is written about in my book, and best of all, you need to learn from other successful people. Where
and how do you find your book?
Okay, the book is available online, www.howtoreinventyourselfandstayrelevant.com.
Yeah.
It's available through iTunes, through Amazon, lulu.com, bn.com. Most of the online bookstores that are selling, you'll find my book there. It's 200 rands, but obviously that's the hard copy. And ebooks and Kindles all vary on different websites. I mean, obviously they sell them in dollars, like $9.99 or $13. It just depends on which website you're buying and on what day, because obviously they run discounts. It's out of my control.
All right. So Sonia, how to reinvent yourself and stay relevant, madam?
Ngiyabonga.
Yazi ukuza nje ushare le nabantu bakithi is very important, because yazi ukuthi i-exclusive books yavalwa. Exclusive books.
But the 80 speeds is because of Ikavela. We've got money for Ikavela.
Shut down.
After 3 months, less than 3 months.
Ngoba asifundi, man. And we no longer read even with our kids. Here's an opportunity for us. Noma we are cleaner, noma we taxi driver, noma we yin. You must brand yourself so that you make yourself special. Kwazibani, you will be a taxi owner, ungapilonga ube president of the association, and change the direction of the taxi industry. We'd like to thank Sonia Booth for stopping by. Stay with us.